Today's video is going to be a quick overview on clearinghouses. Now, it is the right time to do this because we are still going through that Change Health cyber attack that has put us medical billers on high alert because we are unable to send claims, receive ERAs. It's been about 2 weeks when I put up this video that we still are not able to do that the electronic way, which is the way we're accustomed to doing it, that we normally do it nowadays. But I wanted to just talk about clearinghouses in general because I've gotten questions from providers asking about, how much is this going to affect their revenue and which payers it affects and all of those questions. And I think it's important for both providers and billers to know what the clearinghouse is, how it affects us, how it doesn't affect us, and all of that. So keep watching. So what is a clearinghouse? A clearinghouse allows the provider to send electronic claims to multiple payers at one time. And it also allows the payer to send back information to the provider electronically. So when I first started out, we did send claims electronically, but a lot of our payers did not receive it electronically. We still had to do a lot of paper. But nowadays, electronic claim submission is like the way to go. If you're not doing that, people think you're crazy. So if you say I send out paper claims to a payer, they're looking at you like, what is wrong with you? But now that this is going on, like I said, with Change Health cyber attack, we kind of have to go back to some of the ways that we used to. So are we going to just let the claims continue to pile up, or are we going to find an alternative way to send the claims to the payers? And now, even for some payers, they only accept claims nowadays electronically. In my opinion, although you did not ask, but I'm just going to give it to you because this is my video. But in my opinion, I feel like we need to continue to have different ways of doing things. They always say don't put all of your eggs in one basket. And I can't understand why a payer would say we are only going to accept claims through this one avenue. Why would you not accept it through several ways? I even think us as billers need to make sure that we at least know or have alternative routes to send claims, to receive remittance advice, to do all of those things instead of just sticking to one way. We tend to get comfortable and we get in a routine, I guess, and we continue to do something one way. But I really think this cyber attack that is going on with Change Healthcare should be a wake-up call for all of us. So now that I'm off of my rant, you might be asking, why do I need a clearinghouse? What would I use it for? You can use a clearinghouse to submit claims, to handle rejections, and if you don't know what rejections are and how the clearinghouse works with that, you can watch this video right here and it will tell you about rejections for the clearinghouse and for the insurances. It also can use the clearinghouse to receive your ERAs in a batch. Instead of having 111, you can have your batch of ERAs from different payers come into that one system. And you can also use it for reports. You may have reports in your practice management system, which I hope you do, but you can also have reports and maybe sometimes even more clearer reports through your clearinghouse. So is the clearinghouse beneficial to you, and what are those benefits? I think the clearinghouse is very beneficial to you, and here are the benefits that they have. Number one, there's a claims scrubbing process that goes on through the clearinghouse. Now, in your practice management system, you may or may not have that feature, but for sure, or for the most part, you will have a claim scrubbing system through whatever clearinghouse that you have. So if you had any errors that you made that you didn't catch as the biller, then the clearinghouse should pick up on those errors. You can also send your claims very quickly. So if you have like 100 claims to send out, you can send them out extremely quickly and in a batch. So you're sending out all those 100 claims, and if they have to go to 5, 6, 7 different payers, they're all going out one time, as long as the payers take electronic claims. You also have a form of timely filing proof. Now, I remember when we used to mail out the claims, and you would call after, 30, 45 days, and the payer would say that they did not receive the claim. And then if you did not send that claim with a proof of you mailing it, certified mail, some type of tracking, then you would just have to resend it again, and you might be past the timely filing limit, especially if the limit is like 30 days, 90 days, 60 days, you might be past the limit. So with electronic submission, you have a way of proving that you sent the claim within a timely fashion. And the clearinghouse also eliminates or reduces sending out paper claims and receiving paper remits. So right now, paper is like taboo. If you have any type of paper, everyone is like, why you don't have it sent electronically, and why you don't store it on the cloud, and why you don't da. But I can admit that paper can get overwhelming sometimes. And if you use a clearinghouse, you will be able to store the remits, but it will be in an electronic form instead of a paper form. I remember I used to have a file cabinet, and I shouldn't even say I used to, because I still actually have a file cabinet. And you have the file cabinet, and it has tons and tons and tons of RAs. Now, I have slowly gone away from that, but I still have my file cabinet for other reasons. Like, I like to keep my important documents in those. But most people, or most of the new age people, or people who love to deal with the online cloud and all that stuff, they store their information online without having the paper. So if they need to download or print something, they can just go look for it and then print it. And they don't need to have all that paperwork. So having a clearinghouse can help you out with that as well. So if you've gotten anything so far from this video, please make sure that you like the video, comment below, and watch it to the end. Please watch it to the end. That tells YouTube that you're enjoying what you're watching, that you're learning from it, and they'll be able to share it out to other billers so that they can learn just like you are. So how do clearinghouses work? Now, this right here is a good question, because although I know how a clearinghouse works, you may not know that. You may have heard the term clearinghouse over and over again, but you really are not sure how it works. So there are two ways a clearinghouse can work. The first way is that it can be separate from your practice management system. So I have one of the providers that I bill for where I have my information in one system. I upload a batch of claims, which means I send a batch of claims to a file, and then I upload the file into the clearinghouse. I have to log into that clearinghouse in order to upload the file. Then you can have it where it is integrated. So the clearinghouse is integrated within your practice management system. Now, what I forgot to say was the practice management system that I have to upload the file into the clearinghouse is a network or a server-based practice management system. So it's not on the cloud. Practice management is physically in the office. So that's why I have to upload a file and then put that file into the clearinghouse to be sent to the payers. Now, a lot of the online cloud practice managements, you can integrate, or they have their clearinghouses integrated within that practice management system. So instead of having to log into a clearinghouse, so if you're already logged into the practice management system, the claims can be sent automatically through the clearinghouse, which is integrated in the practice management system. So it's like a flow that you don't even know is happening. A lot of times people are not aware of, or they don't understand that, let's say the ABC practice management has an integrated clearinghouse, and they'll say, well, I just have to send out my claims, I press this button, and then it comes back with a rejection report. They don't realize that that's happening because there's a clearinghouse that's integrated within that practice management system. So everything's working together seamlessly, so you don't even know what's happening in the background. Another good question is, what are you looking for in a clearinghouse? And that answer is customized to you. What do you want it to do? Now, there are some clearinghouses that have additional features like eligibility and verification. Within that, they have it to where maybe they can print paper claims as well as send the claims electronically. They can upload remittance advice and maybe send it into your practice management system automatically. But each clearinghouse has certain benefits or features that you may want that's more important to you. So that's the first thing you should be looking for, is what are the features. Of course, you know, price is important too, because if they're charging you extra maybe for every little thing, or if you are a person who sends out a lot of claims and they charge you per claim, that might not be good for you. So of course, price is very important. Then I would say customer service is the next on the list, because if you have any problems, you need to know what's going on. Maybe your claims are not going through right and you're getting errors and you need to speak to someone. You want to be able to have that capability to actually speak to someone and not, you know, be trying to figure this out because you're messing with the revenue of the practice. And the next one that is really important is to make sure that the payers that you deal with is also the payers that the clearinghouse deals with. Because if you sign up to a clearinghouse that deals with 10,000 payers, but only 2 of them are the payers that you deal with, and you have 10 that you have to send paper claims to, then that really doesn't make sense. Now, I know for me, living in the Virgin Islands, sometimes the payers that we deal with, some of these clearinghouses don't deal with. So other billers have told me to deal with a specific clearinghouse, but when I tried to sign up to that clearinghouse and I looked at the payers that they deal with, they don't deal with the payers that I deal with. So it's not as beneficial to me as it is to someone who lives stateside. And something that is important to know, that if you cannot send your claims through the clearinghouse, like an example of what's going on right now, there are other ways to send claims. I know we are very accustomed to sending them electronically, which is a lot less work for us. But if you have to send your claims by entering it into the payers portal, or sending it by fax or email, or maybe even snail mail, then that's what you have to do. At this point, with what's going on with Change Healthcare, we may have to go back to doing that, because we can't just sit around and not have our claims be paid at all because we're waiting for them to fix the situation. The provider is still seeing patients. You still need to bill. The provider needs to get paid so that you can then get paid. So you have to think about alternative ways of sending out your claims. Now, if you are unsure about the numbers that need to go on the claim form, whether that is electronically through the clearinghouse or on paper by snail mail, or whichever other way I just discussed, be sure to watch this video right here. It's going to let you know about all the numbers that you need to have on your claim form to make sure that they get paid and they're not rejected. I'll see you again in my next video.